It's truly amazing what what nature does for bringing people together, communities together, opportunities together. That whole we're a professional networking group, but the one caveat is we don't let you pitch your business.
When we talk about putting together outdoor programs, and look, you used a way of bringing people together, which I love, right? And all of you guys are out there finding places where we're not kids anymore, finding those places where we can interrupt our day and bring community together is really an important part and really part of our overall humanness, right?
It is. And it's important from a social standpoint, from a business standpoint. It's changed my life in many different aspects. And I think what better place to do it than outdoor arenas, whether it's riverside, lakeside, or just walking through the woods with families and friends.
I oftentimes don't stop and take that time, right? I'm a busy building all these different companies that we own and running around doing stuff. And sometimes having a program like this to me feels like having like a lottery ticket in my pocket, right? Knowing that the once a month or how often are you doing these get-togethers?
We have, it's interesting. So we started in September 2021 with one meetup. That it was a small vision in mind, and it was getting a group of business owners together around a sportsman's club to eat some food, break some clays, and then maybe plan a couple of duck hunts throughout the year. It's turned into this past year we have close to 400 different events, anything from big game elk hunting, which I'm leaving on Thursday to go do in Utah and fish the Green River, to Alaska fishing, to we're talking about doing stuff abroad and a moose hunt in northern Canada next year. But it's small riverside stuff during the week or monthly shoots. We did a conservation charity. I mean, there's a ton of different things that we're doing, trying to connect people and give back to conservation.
The putting those things on my calendar gives me a second to just take a breath, right, and reconnect. I belong to a couple of men's groups, and I know that just having that in my life, we meet with those once a month, and or maybe twice a month, and having that on my calendar just gives me a second to just reconnect. And the longer and more I do that, it feels like those bonds get deeper. When you go, when you don't have the pressure of work or even religion, if you go to church, right, there's kind of a guy you're supposed to be. Then all of a sudden you go and you get to have a place where you're having fun with another human being. It starts to really create some real bonding. And I can just imagine as these adventures, as you go on them, you build and you start to deepen better relationships, which ultimately make into better business people.
Yeah. Yeah, as you can imagine, and I would argue most of your member or listeners, if not all of them, they know this rule. People like doing business with who they know, like, trust, or who are like themselves. And it's amazing, actually. And I thought it was already amazing, but now that we're into it, it's truly amazing what nature does for bringing people together, communities together, opportunities together. That whole we're a professional networking group, but the one caveat is we don't let you pitch your business. You can't show up and say, oh my gosh, I have all these products and services and you all need to buy them, and here's this, that, and the other thing. Sales pitch. It's let's talk about something that we have in common. We love the outdoors regardless of what it is. And from there, conversations spark. So instead of giving a 30-second commercial about your company, you share an outdoor related experience. It doesn't have to be hunting or fishing. It could be, gosh, my grandson or my granddaughter or my daughter. We caught our first fish together last Thursday. And oh, that pulls on heartstrings. That brings people wanting to tell their story about their first fish or whatever. And I'm getting chills thinking about it because I've just seen so many new friendships, relationships come together, and then business happen from that, and then great things for the community happen from that.
I'm doing a daddy-daughter weekend next weekend, and even leading up to it, we've been working on. They have a talent show, and we've been working on a skit with the other. So there's some guys that are sharing a cabin together, and we've been passing around, texting each other, kind of some skit ideas, and just even doing that, right? It kind of leads some bonding time with the girls, and you start to really get to know that Dad, you're busy, you get home, you don't spend the time oftentimes as deep as you want to be. Just even that right there feels really, really good in creating some of that real bonding experience with those kids, and spending the time with them. Because they kind of look forward to it, right? Like something they look forward to getting into.
That's this past Friday, we had the opportunity to be one of the sponsors for the Michigan United Conservation Club.
Yeah.
It's they pride themselves on being the voice of all the conservation for Michigan. All your rod and gun or whatever kind of clubs, they help people catch their first fish, shoot their first bow and arrow, support different camps for kids to get involved in outdoor related activity, and being there. It just got, and I just actually got right before this got texted the article that was written about it. They raised 30 grand
Wow.
for profit for youth to get involved. And I would say a lot of people want to be part of Network Outdoors because they want to grow business at some capacity. But I've equally, and this was a little surprising for at first, because remember, I wanted to get a group of business owners together and just have fun once a month, and maybe some business comes from it. But what it's morphed into is, I think I'm going to join you guys because I want to make sure that my children have the same outdoor experience as I had growing up. And it's becoming more, our chapters in Maryland, there isn't a meetup that kids aren't there, which is, they have family memberships out. It's unbelievable. It's really neat. So that's real special that you get to do that with your daughter.
I know it's great. So as they grow, it's kind of fun. This is since 2021, right? You've had this.
Our first one was September of 2021. Yep.
So as it's grown, so that's essentially coming up now on what 2 years, 2 years, and what it's grown into, and it keeps evolving. Talk a little bit about the evolution of the business itself. As you just stepped off to be bold and brave to create this. Let's talk about what were we doing before this?
I'm a Michigan State grad, so for all those people out there that are Spartans, maybe there's a few of them. Go green.
Go.
And that was a big part. That was a big part of my life, and I was able to do a lot of networking there to figure out a way to get an internship in 2008, 2009, which wasn't the easiest thing. So I ended up working for free for a company and talking them into hiring me because they weren't accepting interns that year. But I really wanted to get surrounded myself with people that I thought were successful, at least from the outside, and they ended up being. But I had no idea as a 20-year-old kid. And so when I started off in the commercial insurance world and learned from some phenomenal individuals. My dad is a successful insurance personal lines guy in Michigan, but I wanted to do more business related stuff. And so I learned a lot about business there. I ended up getting into financial services through networking. I was a part of the Detroit Athletic Club, and I was at Wednesday night bowler. And so one of the guys on the team was a managing director there, poached me away. And then from there, I ended up working for a client and then we ran a non-ferrous metal steel company distributor in Metro Detroit. And that's where I learned running payroll and hiring and firing and distribution. And then that got me into recruiting. And that was, there was a number of different ventures along the way, but the recruiting world is where I would say first successful startup company, and a number of employees and a number of roadblocks. And we were part of every 9 different chambers of commerce and Monday golf and coffee meetups, you name it. We were networking. So it's always been a part of the success of whatever kind of adventure I was on. And that's where it led me to creating Network Outdoors.
It's often hard to connect dots going forward, right? You can't, like, sometimes I look over, I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up. I've done all this stuff so far. And I'm like, I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. I've got different ideas, different things we're working on. But when you look backwards and you kind of like, yeah, well, that led to understanding payroll, and that went over there and learned how to do this business. It kind of makes sense. And that's why I try to tell kids and young folks that go try on a bunch of different things, right? That now is the time to try on the different aspects of business. And, maybe you don't do that forever, but everything that you do leads to what you do forever.
Mm.
Right. It kind of becomes the gift of learning, a way of being, look, just dressing up and showing up becomes one thing to learn. Right. And then learning payroll at a company. That's another great one to learn. Just as you've got the experience from the different things that you put together, you start to now build on this dream that you have, which, by the way, I'm completely jealous that you get to go to work and elk hunt, and you get to go to work and go to, I mean, like, come on. There's not a guy out there that's going, really? You get to go to work and put together fun events. I'm sure behind the scenes, there's a lot of stress to that and putting it together, but, you start to build on a dream, and ultimately, what do they say? If you're doing something you love, it doesn't really work.
That's the goal. That is the goal. Right out of college, I wore a suit every day. I was part of one of those agencies that we had a clean face. That was the deal. Clean face. I have a nice head of hair, believe it or not. But like I was sharing with you earlier, I haven't probably done my hair in a couple of years. And I finally wore a suit, and I clean polished every day. That was important. You can go into some of these clients without wearing a white or blue shirt kind of deal. And and you learn that stuff, and that's some of that's important. Now, I think if I wore a suit, I don't think a lot of people in the network would want to do business with me. They would be like, "Are you really an outdoorsman?" Or there's important stuff of who your audience is and what you're doing. Personally, I prefer to be in. I told you I dressed up today. I have my my Vortex Optics green shirt on. It's my newest one. So
I love it. Look, it's fun that you do that. And now, let's talk about some of the big adventures you guys are putting together, because I think that's So, all right, I listen to the show. I want to get involved. Where do I go? What's the website I go to sign up?
networkoutdoors.com. You go there. It gives a decent explanation. My mug is on there, giving a little explanation. I think over 3-4 minutes of what we're doing, where we came from, the nonprofits we're involved in. You can see some of our Field Pro staff members. We're doing a better job. That new website just launched, so we're doing a better job at allowing non-members to see all the events that we're a part of. But like I said, there's 400. That's a lot of, we got to keep that. And it's evolving every day. I just got texted that we're having 2 more dove hunts in Arizona and a coyote hunting weekend down there that I need to add to the website and make flyers for. So we do big hunts, big fishing events. And I need to back up a second. So I started off doing a lot of networking, but also I've always been involved on different nonprofit boards, whether it was for college stuff or conservation. And so originally, me and a friend, Justin Smith, got together actually we were going out to Montana on a fly fishing trip, 24 hours in the truck each way. And we were like, hey, how do we create something that will give to those companies that are doing great things for land, waterways, habitat, new angler programs, new hunter programs, and our veterans. And so originally we started this company called Tracks and Signs, selling apparel and trying to donate that to those groups. But we figured, let's get business owners together who actually have money and a purpose of meeting. Let's give them a purpose to meet. And then let's leverage a little elbows, throw some elbows around and have them write checks to nonprofits doing good things. And then, that was the start of the spark, I guess, to get it going. But so a lot of our events are nonprofit related for sure.
Well, I think that's the fun part of developing it. I remember when I started CDO Group, at the time we were just a construction management outsourcing company, and we were literally inventing the company every time I would call somebody, right? Mm-hmm. We would invent every project we would handle. It was inventing. It sounds like the same thing with you guys as you come up with the idea, right? And that's what I want folks out there to get. Look, every great entrepreneur like Brandon, there are the idea, right? There's the idea that we start with. Okay, I want to do this outdoor networking event to bring people together to get some business out of, but also do some fun stuff for nonprofit charity, for nonprofit groups, and support some charity groups, and build some relationships. Right, you kind of get a threefold hit there. Now, as you put them together, it starts to evolve. Right, the idea starts with an idea, then it expands. Right, and then it gets a little frustrating and confusing, and then it has to organize. Right now you got to figure out how to get all this information on the website. You got 2 more duck hunts down in Phoenix. Great. Now I got to figure out how how am I going to get that in a timely manner so that everybody can see it, and how many people should get communicated to that. And you start to create the processes and procedures as a company to grow and to start to structure that so that you expand and organize. And then then you'll take another step, and now you go from 400 to 4,000 a year. Right, these become around the world. Right, you start going international and around the world, and more and more people get involved with the company. Each part of that is a lot of it's a lot of work. And organizing takes a little bit to do that.
Yeah. Um, Yeah, and every chapter is a little different too. So that the quality, and we wanted to make sure. I had no idea that we were going to expand. It actually came from some social media stuff where we created an account, and one person from Grand Rapids, Michigan, uh, Mike Mulliker, he just sends me a message and says, "Hey, I don't know what you guys exactly are doing. It sounds cool, but I'm in real estate and I want to have that over here." I go, "I don't know. Let's go grab some breakfast and kick some ideas around." I have no idea, but let's do it. So that was, and then we had a chapter in Grand Rapids, and then we just started calling them chapters. And now we have, there's 15 active chapters around the country. We have road maps for a lot more than that, depending on just timing and who's getting involved and when, and logistics. I have a great wife that lets me travel around and do. Amen to her. Whew. Yeah, that I am not on here telling me this is all Brandon by any means, because if I didn't have that home support, this would not be possible. Friends, family, the whole thing. So I you do a lot of travel around to make all this stuff happen. And yeah, elk hunting doesn't sound like work. It's a blast, man. But at the same time, there is some work involved there. I don't know, but I guess to round this off, where it's going is some of the things that have popped up. We're starting a charter boat. We bought our first boat. Now we're getting more boats for next season. We're looking at acquiring different properties and managing properties, and then offering that to members to go do things with, or have first time hunters or anglers out on. We're looking at partnerships with different lodges and outfitters around the country. It's getting pretty cool. Power of the network, scaling sources and sharing them resources and sharing them amongst each other.
And I think that's fun to look at, right? Let's talk about that a little bit, because as you grow, there's just so many different avenues to go down, right? Which one are the payoff? And that's the benefit of having growth, is that now people are paying attention to you. And as you start to organize around, which ones make sense for us to partner, which segments of the business do I want to continue to grow? How do you stay focused and growing forward with the main concept? But then as you start to look at these offshoot ideas that will ultimately be feeders to the concept, or additional revenue for you and your group as you get it. And ultimately companies need revenue. Look, if we're not making money, the idea won't stick around for very long. So finding ways to make sustainable income and reliable income become really important for the organization, right? Because people want to go to an organization, but if we don't support the organization with some cash, it's not going to be around for very long.
Yeah, no, good question. We started off as a free group. I said, "Hey, I'll flip the bill for a handful of months to see if this is even something that it makes sense." I have no clue. And I said, but I, like I said, I like food, so I'll buy some food and throw it on the table and see who shows up, and pay for everybody's range time, and give them a box or two of ammo, and we had some fun. So that started off that way for a few months, and then people started wanting to be a part of it and showing back up. And so we said, well, you know, throwing out $1,000 a month or whatever it is to put these things on is cool to begin with, but it's not sustainable, like you mentioned. So,
Sure.
so we got to make it a paid group, and it's kind of challenging to go from a non-paid group to a paid group. So we might as well do it now than later.
That's right.
And all of a sudden we think we have this great thing with thousands of people non-paid, and then flip the script, and now it's wiped out. So I think it was that February of 2022 was our first month of being a paid group, and then we've never looked back since then. So we have to do it's revenue comes from that, of course, and then different events that we put on. We try to make those a little more break even, or bring in sponsors actually to make it cheaper for members, so they it's something that they couldn't do on their own or have that same experience on their own for that same price. But to when you grow and try to make decisions of what avenues you want to go down to, I've always found it best to keep a core value or a number of core values, and just stick to that. So if a lot of stuff is being thrown at us, of course, but does it fit in the original mission, or how that original mission has evolved a little bit? Will it aid in getting us that mission progressed? And
That's
the
right.
mission is not about us, or not about me. It's about, are these members getting value out of being a part of Network Outdoors? Are relationships actually sparking from outdoor experiences? And then are they getting more business? And then are our nonprofits getting the support and volunteers and dollars they need? So if new things come in that support that mission, we'll absolutely take a good look at it.
It's a beautiful idea. That's the beautiful idea right there. Look, what is supporting our core value? And look, as you're growing, like our men's group, we go through different parts. People want to support it. Look, at the end, they get value out of it. I get value. I get value out of my groups, and your members do too, right? And they want to support it because ultimately they want a great group to belong to that does fun stuff. And it feels fun to belong to a really cool group that's out there doing all kinds of adventures, and it just feels good to be part of something bigger than themselves and myself. And just having a place where I can be me. And sometimes I'm not perfectly me. All right. Sometimes I'm not perfect, and they still invite me back. Right. I want to be able to be me.
Yeah.
And they know the real me, because I want my group to get to know me over time, and really the great part of me that, and you go hunting with somebody or go fishing with somebody, you get to know them. You're not the show of them. You sit in a boat with somebody long enough, or you sit in a blind with somebody long enough, you get to know them, their jokes, their families, their inside scoop, right? You get to really know how they tick,
Yeah.
right? It's a lot different than the me I meet, the guy I meet at a restaurant over a dinner with my wife or something, another couple I meet. I get to meet their show there, but you get to get out and spend some time with a man or his family on a vacation or a trip or something. You get to really spend some time, get to know the real part of them. And ultimately, that's what I'm looking for. Maybe it's a little, it's a stretch to do those first couple ones out there, but the more and more of these adventures that you're putting together, how many men are you getting as members now?
There's about 150.
Wow. 150. And how many of those are go on repeat adventures?
I would say, so that's across the 15 different chapters. Mind you, I think we started our second chapter. That Grand Rapids chapter is just coming up on a year. So we almost went the full. So all these chapters are pretty new. And in 2 months we could have 500 members, very, very easily, if things keep going the way, and just with the amount of chapters we have right now. It's nobody's non-renewed, I guess, if that's one thing.
That's awesome.
And we have one event coming up for its third time. So our first event we ever threw was we rented a big house on Harson's Island in one of the flyways on Lake St. Clair. You take a ferry over to it. Big house. It's known for, there's 3,000 or 4,000 acres of DNR managed waterfowl with flooded corn and marsh. It's beautiful. It's a mecca for waterfowl. So we rented a big house on there. And we did a deal with that guy. That guy charged $250 a night to have through Airbnb, which he normally does. We were able to come in there and negotiate a price and then bring in some sponsors. And it was like pulling teeth, man, to get 8 people there for the first time because nobody knew who we were or what we were doing. And, we were charging $200. It was $199 a person. But what we were able to do is include a steak dinner. We had boats on the island with decoys and guides and the whole thing. And then everybody walked home with a gift and open bar and breakfast at 4:00 in the morning before we went hunting. And then all that for $199 a person versus, 1 bedroom of this house being $250. And so to put it in perspective, it was pulling teeth. We had 8 people show up for that first one. And we had a digital marketing person, a financial services person, a Mexican restaurant owner, a physical therapist, a recruiter, an accountant, an FFL guy. I mean, just completely different, everything from, I think, 30 years old to 60 years old or younger or older, but around those ages. And we were all around a campfire together. And so, like I said, pulling teeth first year. Year 2, we had to rent a larger house and we had to increase it to 16 people, and it sold out in 48 hours.
Wow.
So now this year is year 3, and we have to do there's that one core one on the books, but we have to do 5 others to allow the amount of people that want to go on these different ones a chance to be a part of what we're doing.
Well, Brandon, I got to tell you, your groups and the people that are growing the other parts of the groups, this is the kind of business that it's a business where other people want your success. Look, I want to be part of it. When you get a Chicago branch going, I got to get into that.
We're in Chicago.
There you go. I need that Chicago branch. I got to get into that. Got to get into that group and join that one. I didn't even know that. So
it's in Mokina, I think. It's a new location. It's at Frankfurt Sportsman's Club. Our first time ever going there will be this Thursday. Before that, we were meeting at it was in Tinley Park. That's where we were meeting.
Well, that's awesome. I got to see making that Thursday night, and that'd be a lot of fun. And look, that to me is, bonding. Bonding with men. I mean, look, I love male bonding. Like, I think it's great because today, as a family man, I got my family. I love my wife. I love my children. I love them, and I love bonding with them, right? And a lot of times when we do other things with other families, love that. But I also love when I get to go together with some men's groups and spend a little time with guys and the outdoors. And now that you've got where you guys are doing both men and women in your groups, that's a lot of fun. I'm not sure how much my wife is into outdoors yet. Unless it's at a beach in Greece somewhere, she's probably not sitting.
Sounds like my wife.
She's not sitting in a blind with me. I've tried. And I'm like, I think, sitting in a blind with her might be more fun. But
what we're going to start doing though is it started off as hunting and fishing, and people started saying, and it all started with business owners, but then people started saying, hey, I'm not in a position in my company to grow it. I'm not looking to sell anything, or I work for the government, or I work for a computer programming company, and I'm sick of duck hunting by myself, or I'm sick of going fly fishing by myself, and actually why I'm bringing that. So then outdoor enthusiasts make up about half the membership now. And it's always been open to women, but naturally, just how the industry kind of goes with outdoors, it's been heavily male occupied. And so recently we've been making a push to get women involved or sponsor different events. And because that's important. If you're growing business or having good ideas, you need diversification. And so to have one group of people only making it's not for the greater good. So we're really like on the elk hunt. Dawn Connors, I'll throw her name out there. Her and her husband are coming out there with me. It's phenomenal. But we're getting into outside of hunting and fishing. So some skiing, sailing, hiking, just camping stuff. Anybody that you don't even have to be in the outdoors. it can be put as, I go rich people camping, and you get a big RV and it's $1 million, and you call it, oh, I went camping that weekend. Or you could be next to the person in a tent. Either way, we can get them all together and do things like that. That's where we're going.
I did that. We were gonna go. It was like last summer. We wanted to go camping on the line of scrimmage. I'm like, yeah, I listen. I'm not telling you that I don't love camping, but I've got but I do have a 3-bedroom camp tent, a 3-bedroom tent with AC and blow up mattresses. It's pretty Mac Daddy, but I right on the line of scrimmage, I chickened out and rented an RV, and thank God I did, because it rained the entire weekend, and it was great. So I'm with you. I'll be the guy in the RV, because I don't know, maybe we'll get a little older, a little bit more soft, but I did I love the barbecuing outside and the campfires, but I also like sleeping. So I feel like when I'm in a tent, I don't sleep as well. But Brandon, I got to tell you, I love your idea. Network Outdoors is a organization that take a look at audience right now. Take a second and go check out Brandon's organization. We'll put the link right down below. The website is networkoutdoors.com. And Brandon, if they want to get a hold of you, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
They can go directly through the site. That gets funneled into me and our field pro staff team. They can email me at members@networkoutdoors.com, and any through social media. Would love to talk to anybody looking to get involved with the outdoors.
Awesome. We're grateful to have you on the show. As always, keep growing, come back here with any new plans for next year as you guys grow and you go international. I'd love to have you back on the show and continue to talk about where you guys are growing and what you're up to, as both as the concept itself and you as the entrepreneur. Brandon, I'm really excited to have you on the show, and thanks for being here today.
Yeah, Anthony, thank you so much for taking the time to learn more about Network Outdoors and have me on your show. I really, really appreciate that. And maybe if I don't see you this Thursday, hopefully next month I'll catch you.
Awesome, brother. Thanks a lot.
Take care. Thank you.